I want you to picture how late night typically ends in Austin. Maybe you've got a business meeting really late, it's 10 p.m. Maybe you're a student who's been working in the library until midnight. Or maybe you've been out with a friend partying and you get back to 2 a.m. More often than not, one thing's going to be sure, you're hungry. So you try to find some place to eat. But what's worse than deciding on a place, getting excited about it, and then it's closed? We've all had this experience. It's extremely frustrating. And what's more, it should be entirely avoidable. I recently had an experience just like this. I was coming back into Austin on a late night flight, and I decided to go to a place on the drive called Burt's. It's delicious and it's open until 4 a.m. So I walked 7 or 8 blocks over there, only to find out that those are the weekend hours. Needless to say, I wasn't happy. And I thought to myself, how can I fix this? There are other services that attempt to fix this issue, but each one has some individual issues as well. First of all, Restaurant Open. It addresses lots of chain restaurants, but only those that are 24 hours fast food places. Yelp actually offers the ability to see what's open now in a list and a map, but it's not easy or very apparent how you get there. And more often than not, you go to Yelp to get reviews. You don't go there to find out what's open. Lastly is Open Now. This is a Boston-based service that hasn't grown very far beyond there. It's got a lot of good things going for it, but the scope is too broad. One of the things on their website says they want to focus on synagogues and strip clubs, which, as you can imagine, is a little bit of a large scope. So we figured they are going to have some serious issues with scalability. Now here's where we come in. My team and I discussed the issue and came with an idea. Create a mobile app that, when launched, locates the user and presents them with a map of all the food that's still open nearby. If some place is about to close, yellow. If it's going to be open for an hour or more, green. Now our programmer Victor is going to show some of the basic functionalities that this app will offer. First and foremost, the default is as a map. You can easily switch into a list view. Also, you have the ability to filter by delivery options, type of food, etc., different features that we got from pulling our target demographic. Another exciting feature is called the Project Ahead, which basically, if you are somewhere and going to get out in a few hours, it's a good way to see what's going to be open later on. So as you can see, stuff suddenly becomes appearing as soon as it opens, and then as the night goes on, stuff will also disappear. It's a really handy way to do it. Okay, next is revenue. Now, what we're offering is a very unique service, that of business analytics. Also, before the revenue part, we realized that for comprehensiveness, we really have to be covering every single place if we want to be successful. Now, our research manager, Shirag, realized that the most comprehensive database is actually the State Department of Health and Human Services. They have every single restaurant that's open based on a state-by-state basis, and that is what we're using as the raw data to pull our app from. We're then calling each place to verify the hours. All right, now onto the revenue model. All right, so our primary financial model lies in offering unique business analytics for restaurants. Each user will contribute anonymous, but ultimately very useful information that restaurants can then use. For example, when you pull up the app, it geolocates you. That tells businesses where people are when they're hungry. What filters they select will indicate what kind of food people are looking for at various times of the night. Lastly, the most recent place that people look at before they close the app will probably indicate where they're going to go. Now, businesses can make their own decisions from this. Maybe they need to increase advertising or lengthen their hours. To get access to this information, however, they'd have to buy or sign up for what's called an enhanced profile. That would offer these metrics and also the ability to be sponsored on searches, which would then give them a special icon on the map and also a higher place up on the list view. From talking to different business owners, around 15 or 16, we arrived at a rough price point of about $25 a month. So why would restaurants want an enhanced profile? Our app provides a unique advertising opportunity that few other apps would. Food, unlike other products, is something that is generally about to be purchased as soon as it's researched. When our users launch the app, they're displaying immediate consumer intent to purchase. They're saying, hey, I've got $5 to $10 I want to use right now. We have the access to that consumer intent, and we want to offer it to the restaurants. Also, another model that we're thinking about working at, but we haven't decided on yet, is freemium. 30% of the people, when polled, said that they would be interested in getting an upgraded version for about $1. And with this, we get some features such as no ads, possibility of accessing promo codes and stuff like that. But we're not sold on that. We're still trying to figure that out. Next is selling and expansion. Our projection area is product completion in 2 to 4 weeks and complete coverage of the Austin area in 3 months. First of all, the app is free for consumers to curate a very large user base. We personally think that this thing has an opportunity to go viral big time. Because if you think about it, eating is a very social opportunity, a very social action. So when people get together and are using this app, they're naturally going to spread it to their friends if they like it. Now, once our user base hits a critical mass, it can grow exponentially. See, it solves not just one user pain point, but 2. Not only is this confirming and verifying places you're already looking for, but it's also about discovering new places as well. Next is the verification of business hours. Although we can do this to ourselves for the Austin base, that's not too difficult. When we want to expand, we're going to have to hire people at call centers to take care of other cities. Our rollout plan is to expand to a couple of college towns or cities with lots of late night food options within the next year. And after we confirm business hours on the phone, we'll offer them a chance to upgrade to our enhanced profile on our website and potentially use other features. Now in Austin, about 50% of restaurants are open past 10 p.m. on Friday. We think that our prices would be attractive to businesses like these. We've checked, and already they spend between $300 to $1,000 on media coverage, just from services like Yelp alone. Now, our major costs are just marketing and hiring. To get one worker that could get complete coverage for 3 cities, we only need 2% of the market share in Austin. 2%, it's nothing. So, simple sales. All we need from you now is practical advice on marketing and also some veteran advice from people in the mobile industry of what we need to do next. It's 2 a.m. and you're 2 blocks away from an amazing meal. Just 2 clicks and you know we're still open. Thank you.
So now we're going to have 5 minutes of Q&A for Still Open.
Can I ask who you polled when you got your data? Because you went out to the field and you talked to different, how many companies or what types of companies?
We went to food trucks mostly because they were open latest at night on Saturday night, and also just places that like pizza places, places downtown that would be still available when we were down around 2 a.m. And some offered less, some offered more, and we kind of compromised at $25. Yes.
So like, are you just saying like which restaurants are open, or you also like offer specials? Like the restaurant will like use it as a platform to offer customers specials.
That's a potential way we're. It's not an initial feature, but yeah, definitely. When they buy the enhanced model, they can then put their own deals on the site that you could bring in the app and then show like a promo code or a coupon. But that's something that wouldn't be a basic feature. They'd have to pay to be able to use that.
Have you thought about so if somebody drives into an area or geofences, so when somebody gets close to a place that's open, it automatically alerts them if they have the app that they just got close to a place that's still open?
We certainly could. I mean, with our scope, there will be a lot of places that are open, so that would be a lot of notifications. But yeah, certainly that's possible.
You talked about trailers as being a primary set of restaurants that are open. What is the propensity of people who own trailers to advertise and use this type of facility or capability versus brick and mortar restaurants?
I think that it will apply to everyone, because one thing that's important to realize, we market this largely as a late night app, but also this is a problem that all businesses face. Because at 9 p.m., there's a lot of places I'm not sure if they're going to be open or not. That's pretty much every brick and mortar. You're never sure if they're going to be closing at 9, 10, or 11. This will show all of that as well. It's nice late at night when you're looking for what's still open, but it's always out the rule.
So if I'm like thinking of going to Best Buy and I want to know what time they close, I go to Best Buy's website. Why am I going to come to your website? How am I going to know to come to your website?
Well, a lot of times, like notoriously, it's hard to find business hours, especially for restaurants. A lot of times they're not accurate. We're billing ourselves as one of the most accurate sites. And then, to come to ours, hopefully if you're looking up for apps, you'll see Still Open. And after a certain point, we'd like just to have the word of mouth so that people will know to come to ours. And we're still working on the marketing aspect.
None of those were really answers, but I mean, none of those actually. I mean, those were all things like that only worked if people already knew about it, right? Like you can only brand yourself as something when people are already finding you. So I think that's your biggest challenge is you got to figure out, it's like, it's an interesting app, but the hard part is how do you make sure people know about it? Once people know about it, then you've got something to sell to advertisers and do all this other stuff.
That's our biggest challenge right now is marketing. Our core demographic we realized is about 16 to 28, so we're going to focus first on like college campuses and stuff like that. But yeah, marketing is definitely a big challenge for us we need to overcome.
So maybe another marketing channel would be a situation where people are transient in the town or don't normally live there, and that could include people inside, people who are tourists at a hotel, whatever.
Right, that's something we definitely thought about is people like coming in on business trips and stuff like that, don't know the area at all. This would be an extremely useful feature for them to know, just everything that's open nearby. Yeah.
I don't really have any questions for you. I really like the idea. I teach classes, and last week we got done at 9:30, and we said, let's go out for a beer after class. We went to 4 places in a row, all of which were closed, which shouldn't have been, But what I'd say is we were all over 28, and none of us were near the university. This is out in the west side of Austin, which appears to just go dead at about 10 o'clock at night. So, but I've got a lot of ideas for you. But on marketing, figuring out something to do at all of those restaurants that tells people they're part of your system. Something on their door, or a sticker, or table talkers, or food truck talkers, whatever. But something, even the ones that aren't paying, you can have all their customers see your logo. It's a good logo. Anyway, so sorry, don't have a question. I think it's a cool idea. It has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
So, how often do restaurants change their operating hours, and how do you keep up to date with your database?
They can change it whenever, and that's one thing that luckily, by the nature of the database we're using with like these health services and health sections, whenever they will release a new list, we can just put that back into our server and see what places have closed and opened. So we're going to call places to verify the hours, and then once we call them and talk to them, we're also going to get their email and email them on a yearly basis just to make sure their hours are up to date. And that's actually all the time we have for questions. But thank you.